This special episode of The Glass Tab was proudly brought to you by Continental Tires.
Thank you, Continental Tires, for sponsoring this absolutely horrendous 2 weeks of trade period, and then a very frantic last 25 minutes, and then this next 45 minutes to an hour of this. More trade stuff, and then we don't have to talk about it ever again.
Yes, this is the last gasp. This
Yes,
is where you come for your review of the trade period
the
in a
last
way that you've never
squeeze.
been reviewed before.
Yeah, the last fucking wringing out of the towel of trade stuff. We don't
We
have to.
are the last drops.
Nobody has to worry about it anymore. Doesn't matter. We'll give our opinions and then we're done.
Corner of the ice cream tub. The little ones that are left over. That's us.
Where you're just trying to dig in there and you're not even bothering putting it in a bowl anymore. You're just fucking just trying to just get it out of there.
Hacking at it with a teaspoon.
You're waiting for it to melt so you can just like drink it like a soup. Like it's just
We are the condensation on your ice cream.
that is us.
And yet here we are. Trade period's done, Jared.
It is done.
Sensationally done.
Absolutely. Thank goodness for that.
It's been frantic. And I hate it. Hated
Ne-
every bit of it.
Never again, please.
Don't want to talk about it. And yet, for some reason, delisted free agency starts, and then pick trading continues till the November 8th. Stupid, sexy player picks are happening. The SSP.
I was gonna say, yep. And then the fucking normal draft, of course.
Normal draft happens,
Rookie draft. It's just
and then come train with us over summer draft. I'm sure is in there somewhere.
love those come train with us over summer drafts. And then we're back to
Yeah. Then you got an open training.
yep, spot on. And all of a sudden it's
Then
March 20th again.
yeah, and then right, you're in the build up to the mid-season draft.
That's all the AFL cares about, guys. Not the actual games. We're just going from draft to draft to draft and just building our way through.
Yep. So, shall we smash the glass on this trade period?
Let's do it.
That's a play of the game. That is the play of the game.
The impossible angle, and he puts it through, and Portly.
Danger, 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 danger. Butler, 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 Butler.
Get around him! Get around him! Edge of the seat.
This is a special episode of the Glass Table. We're doing
Yes.
talking trade stuff because now I shall mention this now because I know people will get to 45 minutes to an hour's time and sit there and go, that was pointless. And so do we. But there will not be an episode next week
No.
because breaks my heart to say this. Jared Thomas is losing his wisdom teeth.
I really thought you were going to be like, he's losing his wisdom. He's losing his brain. So,
No, just the teeth. The brain's already gone. The wisdom, questionable.
yeah, well, the brain's definitely gone after the last 2 weeks. But absolutely, yes, that is what's happening. I am getting my wisdom teeth out on Sunday, meaning I don't think I will be in a state to record. And hence we are taking the weekend. Hence why we're doing this now, because we then have 2 episodes in a week and then we have a bit of fun, bit of trade draft things. And yeah, we're rolling. Everything's good. Then by the time my wisdom is put back in, when my drugs wear off, then we'll be right and ready to go again.
100%. Can't wait. It's going to be unreal.
So good.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about that crap. Let's talk about the trade period, which was
Yes.
more crap.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, been a frantic last couple of weeks. I'm not going to go through all the trades because we know what the trades were. We've seen it. There was a period of time where we thought the trade period actually got cancelled. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we're now here. We're finished. Some players have come and gone from clubs. But the one thing that was really, really confusing to me is we waited to the last minute to see 10 players be traded. Why is it, Mr. Thomas, that I'm blue balled for so long and then within 25 seconds I'm done?
That seems like an issue that you should probably take up with a professional of some sort. But if you're talking
They
trade,
always say you keep going.
just keep going till you figure it out. So the trade is an interesting one. I have now learnt this trade period that next time this trade period happens, I'm not going to care until the last half an hour. That is when you should start caring. That's
Yeah.
when you just keep yourself away from all AFL trade stuff to the last half an hour, then just read through the other things, and then all of a sudden all these things happen all at once. I felt like the clubs were just all on their egos. They were just trying to be like, no, we're better. We're going to hold on. They're playing the biggest fucking game of chicken of all time. And all 10 of these players just like, can we fucking do it, please? The Saints and McRae one, for example, we ended up being just pick 45. Like it was obviously a big 14 mega trade kind of thing. But earlier today, there was fucking hassles and hassles about this pick 45 fucking going to the dogs. If it had just got done earlier in the day, the Daniel one would have been done, which means the Kennedy one would have been done, which means everything would have just gone a lot easier. But no, fucking St Kilda and the dogs had to be all fucking high and mighty and put themselves in this spot of, nah, let's make everyone wait till the last 5 minutes and then let everything happen at once. I almost lost a lot of things. I almost didn't see the stringer thing at all because it was just ridiculous. And I'm sick of it. And next time we're just waiting till the last half an hour and then caring then, basically.
Love the chat on Trade Radio was with Damo and Kane and Kawtumi about the fact that at the last 10 minutes you always see a surprise and there could be a massive, massive trade. You know, players like names like Clayton Oliver could be going, he's still got that fucking name in again
Every
right
time
at the
they
last
got to
minute.
figure it out. Yeah, spot on.
Well, Damo, let me tell you, your shock trade, Jacob Constanti,
Woo! Yeah.
included in the trade with North Melbourne, doing Luke Parker and traded off, obviously, pick 44. You ever think, just sit there and go, pick 44, you could have just thrown that on day one.
Yeah, that's another one of those ones, like the McRae one, where it's like just if you'd have just offered it, everything would have been fine. But instead, you had to wait for like a whole nother player because I know that they were originally saying, "Yeah, we'll give you 62," and Sydney were like, "No, he was our captain for a long time. He was a premiership player. We're not just going to give him to you for 65 or whatever, 62." And then it was just like, all right. So they just threw in just a guy. Like they just threw in a guy who did not have anything spoken about him at all, I don't think, for the first like week and a half of trade period, but then must have on deadline day been like, oh, I could go to North. And then Sydney were like, oh, could you now? Righto, let's do this then. Do you reckon Sydney like went like called everyone into their rooms and said, put your hands up if you'd like to play for North Melbourne next year? And then like three people put their hands up and went, you, what's your name? And he went, Jacob, and they went, yeah, you come with me.
You know,
Pack
it's
your
funny.
bags, going to North.
I'm pretty sure he was a late first round pick.
And how many games of football has Jacob Constanti played? Because I can't even fucking say his last name.
Constanti.
Constanti. Jacob Constanti was picked 20 in 2022. He's gone back a long time. Didn't play a game this year. He didn't play a game last year. Has not played a game
Yeah, he's uncapped.
yeah, brilliant.
That's what the best part about that is. The greatest part about it all
Hmm.
is they talk about Caleb Daniel and like, oh, what's the deal going to be for Caleb Daniel? And oh, what are they going to do to, get this done because the dogs are demanding so much. My theory is North Melbourne didn't even get an opportunity to talk to the dogs cohort that were at Marvel today or wherever they were at AFL House because they were too busy locked in the same room with the Geelong Cats.
Fucking cats and dogs today. Talk about kitty law.
Yeah.
They were absolutely fucking locked in for a long time. Watching Paul Connors just walk up and down between the dogs and the cats rooms was hilarious. And then I saw a side by side of there being one guy in the cats trader room and there being like seven in the dogs one. And you just knew they were freaking out. They were like, I don't know how to do this. The cats were like, it is what it is. And then I could just tell Sydney and Carlton and St Kilda, who were all also waiting on the dogs, were like, can we please just fucking hurry up and just get this deal done so that we can start moving along, please? Like, oh, that trade.
care about that trade because it was disgusting, but also very funny that on the last minute we got a mega trade, which would
Yes.
have made Adam Cooney very happy. So the mega trade was simply the Cats receive Bailey Smith from the Dogs. They gave a first round pick, pick 17, to the Dogs back, and also sent off pick 38, which went to Carlton. Obviously the Dogs received Matt Kennedy from Carlton, and they gave away Bailey Smith and Jack McRae, who ended up at St Kilda, who gave a third round pick, pick 45, which ended up at the Cats. And obviously the Carlton Football Club only received pick 38 and gave Matt Kennedy off, which sits here to me. And you never really compare apples and oranges because they taste different. Because you have different color. It tastes different.
Thank you so much.
Why?
It's sensational. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, so you go pick 38, Matt Kennedy. Pick 45, essentially, is Jack McRae. Pick 25 is Caleb Daniel. Now, of the three, comparing the pair, and I know Daniel was done on a separate trade, pick 25 of Daniel seems um, overs.
Yep.
Matt Kennedy going for essentially 38 almost seems unders to me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And McRae 45 is about right, the way he was treated. And they say, oh, he plays 17 games. Well, how many fucking minutes did Jack McRae play this
I was
year?
going to say 17 games, but you look at the minute totals among those games.
17 minutes.
Very, very different. Yeah, very, very different. A lot of games, a lot of minutes down. He probably played more. He probably played more minutes for Footscray, but well more games for the Dogs. That was how he was going. But yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Daniel is a good player, Caleb Daniel. Pick 25 is interesting. Matt Kennedy, I really like. This is like personal preference. I really like Matt Kennedy, and him going 38. I'm like, that's pretty rough. I think he's really good. And I'm sure we'll talk about Carlton in a second anyway. But it's one of those ones where you kind of look at it all, and it could have been so much easier than having to get four teams involved in a mega trade that happened at 7:29 and 45 seconds. Like teams sometimes just got to put their egos to the side. And like I'm almost exclusively looking at the Dogs here and just be like, all right, this player doesn't want to play here anymore. Let's just get him out. Like let's just 45. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sure, whatever. Let's just do it, get it done, kind of thing. The Daniel one, I feel like they could have done a little bit better for. That's fine. But like the Bailey Smith one, just let it happen. Like just take the players and run. And it's just clubs get a big ego around this time of year, and it's another one of those cases where they're like, no, we'll put a big fucking mega trade in and hope for the best.
The thing with this trade is, though, and many of the trades, is pick 25 in particular. They talk about this draft being unbelievable. Like, it is. I've heard from sources that it is the best best draft depth in the last decade. It's got all the way down to pick 40s. They're talking that there's a variety of players, and
Very
everything
strong.
of the sort.
Yeah.
It's a strong draft. So pick 25 essentially, in some consideration, could be your pick 17, 18.
Yeah. In other drafts.
It's yeah. So when you look at pick 25, that's a massive get, I guess, for the Dogs in that sense, because now they've got 17 and 25 essentially from a fringe player in Caleb Daniel and a bloke that hasn't played in 12 months in Bailey Smith. So, they could say they win there, and then pick 45 goes to the Cats, and
We
they're
know
ending up with a
what they can do with late picks. Fucking hell.
exactly like that's another Humphreys going their way, at pick 45, which is their first pick in the draft.
Wild, by the way.
It's insane. But then I go to the trade that has been the most complicated of the lot.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about fucking Dan Houston. Saw him in a picture. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that yet. Hawthorn and West Coast doing Tom Barras.
Took their fucking time.
But this was the trade. Barras and a future fourth, which was, I think, the first future fourth traded this trade period. along with Peatling got one or two actually.
So,
We waited to the last day to see a future fourth.
do it. Yeah. Love a future
Future
force
fourth in this, future fourth in this draft. Let me tell you,
stars.
it's actually a future second. um, so the Eagles got a future first, a future second, and a future third from Hawthorn. They ended up then giving Tom Barras and a future fourth. That ended up being the deal.
Yeah.
Everything's done in the future. I reckon next year's draft is actually one of the weakest, which tells me that parents out there had an off year.
Good year off you. Good year off you. It always happens that way sometimes. You look at a draft, you're like, it's pretty bad. The year that which year? Which year was Jamara that year? That year wasn't great. Like that was an interesting year. 2020, I think was
I
fantastic.
said last year was like that too, actually.
Yeah, I think they were talking about last year like that. But then that
Only
by the
60
they said
picks or
the
something
top
last
the
year.
top like five were really good, and then after that it was like falling off a cliff. But this year it's like, yeah, like you said, it's a massive thing, which is, yeah, weird that they nagged for so long to get this done. I know West Coast wanted two future firsts. I know that's what the original plan was. And so it looks like Hawks just like met in the middle and were like, right, let's just get it done. We'll give you one, two, and three, and just give us a future fourth that we're gonna pass on anyway. Like we're gonna pass on him eventually. It doesn't matter. Just give us brass, and you're basically getting one, two, and three, and you're just taking another pick off your books, and it just looks better for everybody, kind of thing. Which is just annoying and confusing, and I hate that the future picks are in this now because I don't know what's worth anything anymore. And in a few years' time, I'm gonna be like, was that their pick or was that West Coast? I don't know. And it's just gonna be a whole thing.
Funny,
Uh,
Like I'll just to talk about the draft order currently. So the top 23, so that's the first round.
hmm.
Usually you used to think the first round was just the 18 teams. No, it's the first round. So
So
23
father,
picks in the first round.
yeah, father
Out of
son.
the 23 picks, seven of them are original. The rest have been traded or off traded or are from last year's trade period,
I'm
or are
also
assistance packages.
I'm also pretty sure about 13 of them are fucking held by Richmond. So Richmond are going to be heavily featured come draft night, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm sure. But it's pretty fucked up. People are they're swapping draft picks like it's nothing. And then I think the funniest thing about this is like at the end of the day, these draft picks mean nothing because
Yep.
anybody can turn out to be anything, and it's just wild that they are so. Like you rarely see player for player trades. Like you never see that. It's usually player for some picks. That's usually what it is. And like in other sports like the NBA and like it's mainly specifically the NBA, you see a lot of player for player swaps kind of thing, which is like it's pretty rough if you're the player that's like getting packaged up with four other players for one guy. You're like, fuck, that makes me feel pretty good. But like sometimes I wish they could do that because it's much easier to test the value of players rather than is of the
Well,
draft.
let me tell you, one fucking trade did it.
Port got about 400 players in a pick for
We got a
fucking
new list.
got all of them.
We've got everyone. You got a fringe player? Come on, Alberton.
You got a player that's barely breaking the 23? Come on down. We'll fucking.
Rory Atkins is barely breaking the 46.
He might be playing twos. What's Adelaide's twos team called?
I don't know, but I think two twos equals fourth.
I think they play on Wednesday nights. Poor Rory Atkins is really struggling. But yeah, that's the Port one's very funny. When I first saw that one, I know obviously there's been many a video on the Pair channel which you can go and look at. Here, there you go, there's the plug. And there's been many video obviously, which is completely fair enough. When I first saw it, I was very much in the camp of Port have done well because I was like, it's a lot of players back. And then I watched your video and you were like, we could have done all these deals separately and still got the Houston one done. I went, oh yeah, that's actually not great now that I think about it. So yeah, poor from Port. Collingwood get away with some pretty good shit. Collingwood kind of got away like absolute highway robbery, and Gold Coast just did what Gold Coast do every time and give away all their picks for later ones so they can just use all the academy players.
I didn't realize Gold Coast had an academy till like 2 years ago. It baffled me, really.
They had fucking like
Um,
four, they had four players like last year. I didn't know anyone that came out of it before that.
don't know anyone that's going. I know there's a player named Lombard in this
Leo
year's. I'm pretty
Lombard,
sure.
fucking superstar.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
LNL, LL Cool J. Um,
What a reference.
I know, crazy. But the one thing about the portrait, and I've learnt, and I was a little bit heated in those videos. But over the last couple of
Angry.
days, I started to assess, and I was talking. I started to. The best medicine about trade period is talking, clearly, because you can get sponsors from it and create a whole radio channel for it.
Continental players.
Maybe we should get a sponsor next year. DHL,
That's
not so fast around here.
a reference to the last episode, everybody. If you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it.
Came out yesterday, pretty much.
Yeah, it's fucking very close.
Close to it. But no, the way you look at the Rory Atkins thing, and he is nothing more than a 1 year sample operation. It was almost a pick purchase. Yeah, it ended up
The
being.
Riley Bonner, if you will.
Thought we had hope. I'm not gonna lie. We went Riley Bonner out, and we had like a year where it was like, oh
We
my
were like,
god,
here we go.
we've got no turnover left footers,
Rory Atkins.
and then it's just
Flew too close to the sun. Get it?
always a fucking rat problem, isn't there?
Port flew too close to the sun and came away with Rory Atkins, and it is very unfortunate. But yeah,
I think he'll create good depth. He's in all seriousness, he's going to create good depth for the sample. And as Kane Corns has said, we're going to go on and win the premiership in the sample. It's funny. If you don't laugh, you cry, really. But in saying that, he'll do that, and it was almost a pick purchase kind of thing because that way we got pick 29 in, which is essentially going to be pushed out a little bit with academy and father sons and stuff. But in a draft like this, you can get picked 13, 29, 36 for Port inside that top 40. And I'm sure with all this trading of picks, they can be bundled up, and you could go purchase a pick 21 from GWS and equates to the same points. Or they might deal with Gold Coast. Who knows? Again, because they like trading picks. But essentially, you look at it. Joe Richards fills a spot. He's above McEntee. He's above Evans. He's above Narkle, and two of those are going to get delisted, not McEntee. No, that's just what I'm hearing. It's not
no, I know. It was just the way you said that make it sound like two are going to get delisted, and one of them's name is not McEntee.
Going to list my Jed. Hi. And then Lukosius is the pick of the bunch. He was a pick 2. So at the end of the day, a pick 2 who was a forward coming in for a halfback who is worth near 2 first round picks, and you've got pick 13 coming in. In hindsight, it's not as bad as we look at it, especially with this year's draft. In saying that, contracts are overrated. Dan Houston looks ugly in a Collingwood top, and he's wearing fake prison bars. So
fuck him.
I deleted all your content off my phone, Dan Houston. There's no more long bomb goal against Essendon. No ever long bomb goal.
Never again.
I haven't. You didn't scull the drink at the Brownlow? No.
That video that we used to get a lot of use out of. We got one more run out of it, and then now it's over. That video will never see the light of day on the Glass Table socials ever again.
It's my favorite video ever from a player at an event, and I can't even keep it anymore.
Fucking Houston.
He's going to be great at Collingwood. I tell you what Collingwood have done to go out, they've definitely gone for the now. Their draft hand this year is 52, 55, and 58. So they've gone and said, right, we're in for the now. We've gone and got Harry Perryman. We've gone and got they ended up getting Tim Memory, which I was a little bit surprised about. I thought they would go sneak him in, but he didn't.
Well, I think they'll rookie draft him. I reckon he's not gonna get a contract, so I reckon he'll make his way in there with a pre-supplemental or a rookie draft or something along those lines.
one of the 16 different periods coming up
One of the
still to
next
come.
periods that come across. Yes, absolutely.
So he'll be in there. Then obviously Dan Houston comes in, a great selection for them. And they've, whilst traded out of this draft, have essentially turned Noble a future first, and I think one of their other picks into Dan Houston.
Yeah, Houston, Perryman, and I like. It is very, very good. I love a team that knows what they're doing. I love a team that knows where they're at and where their list is at. I'll touch on a team that I think does not know that in a second. But the team like Collingwood, at the end of last year, they obviously started the year quite poorly. Middle of the year was quite poor, but they came home very, very quick. And they were a team that if they had snuck into that final series, they were going to be dangerous because it's Collingwood. And they have been dangerous for a few years. And they obviously have the talent to be able to do that. They have Nick Dacos, who is going to be in the top three players in the AFL for the rest of his career. Like that is just who he is, basically. You put in the likes of Perryman, who can shut down a player. You put in the likes of Houston, who is going to provide very good ball use and allow Nick Dacos to, like obviously I know Houston wants to play a bit of midfield and stuff like that. Gives Nick Davis the ability to play off halfback if he needs to, and then swap into the midfield. Gives Houston the ability to play off halfback. Neither of those two are ever going to really spend any time on the bench because they're just going to swap with each other, which is fantastic. And it's like they are so good, and they are going to be so good. And I remember when the grand final, when the premiership markets came out already for 2025, and Collingwood was so up there, I was like, why the fuck are people doing this? And now I'm like, yeah. Get on that. They're going to be pretty good, I think. And that's probably for the third year in a row that I'm going to be like, yep, Bon Collingwood's going to be pretty good. I'm going to ride that train again, I think, because they are very, very good. And I appreciate that they know that their list is built for now. They've got a lot of aging guys, and they have players that are aging but good enough to contend for a premiership. They have Pendlebury, DeGoey, but then of course they've got Nick Dacos, who isn't aging at all and probably never will. But they've got these players that can win you a flag, and they have won a flag with them very, very recently. So they're like, fuck it, why don't we just keep riding this wave and then bottom out when we need to? But that doesn't have to be right now. They can bottom out when everyone is done, but they're not going to be done, which is good. And I like a team that that knows what they're doing when it comes to their list, and getting Dan Houston is the perfect pickup, like literally the perfect pickup for Collingwood.
The best part about that is I also see probably 2025 being a Brisbane Collingwood grand final again.
Once again, run it
Yeah.
back.
What I want to talk about as well, just before we get into some of the things we did want to talk about, because we found things to talk about, Jared,
Yes.
is Melbourne. Now, they've managed to turn this draft hand into just picks 5 and 9. So they've got the two. They have a decent youth list. Obviously, can have Clayton Oliver coming back to the club, and Christian Petrarca is going to be coming back after all of that fiasco.
Yep.
The same.
Right.
They've
Everyone's
also got a kid. Yeah, everyone's the same. They've also got Harry Sharp coming in, who unlucky to not be breaking into the lines. It was an emergency for the grand final. Unlucky because they have such a good depth, and even the likes of Devon Robertson, who's a serviceable inside mid, you're just not getting into that midfield. So for him to go in to this D's outfit, which will, I think, suit him a lot better,
yes.
I think they've done surprisingly well considering on the brink of the trade period, the D's were basically going to hell.
Quite literally. I think I have
Yes.
this feeling that everybody in the AFL media is trying to sink the Melbourne Demons. I have this theory in my head that nobody likes them and everyone's just trying to make them
What
bad.
makes you say that, Jared?
Maybe the fact that they try and get Clayton Oliver shipped off every 2 days. But like you said, their team, the core of their team is still the same. They still have Max Gawn, they still have Christian Petrarca, they still have Clayton Oliver, they still have Jack Viney, they still have Stephen May and Jack Lever. They are getting a Jake Lever. They are still getting players that are developing and are still good. They have Bailey Fridge. They have Van Rooyen, who is getting better. They bring in players that are getting better. Harry Sharp is young and will only get better. They have picks 5 and 9. Melbourne, while I think they know probably won't contend this year because they still need to kind of sort out their proper full line things and get Van Rooyen that next level up. I think Melbourne know where they're at. I love what they're doing. And just I think they win regardless of anything because they held all the media off. They held all the hounds off that were trying to get them to sell all their players, and they said, "No, we're going to keep everybody. We're just going to do it. We're just going to get there. We're just going to get to 2025 in one piece, and that's all we need to do."
The best part about it as well is I reckon with pick 5 or pick 9, they can target a tall forward. And if
100%.
that's not then not if Melbourne do not use either 5 or 9 as as their number one target being a key forward, then they don't know what their problems are on their list. They have to have a key forward. I know they went after what's his name from GWS?
Dirksen, that fella.
Cade Dirksen or whatever it was.
Wade Dirksen. Wade Dirksen. And he didn't get there.
Get some proper names, you people.
That feels like a player that would have been the first trade of the period because no one knows who he is and would have been like, oh, Wade Dirksen. But that didn't even get done.
GWS have lost about 16 players this trade period, and apparently they're going to lose a few more going into the start of next year. So I can probably see why they didn't trade too much.
Maybe
there.
they got a bit icy towards the back end.
Blue is one of the things they were using in the private room, not going to lie. Icy and dicey and slicey, and I'm not here to speculate.
No, neither way, but absolutely.
I don't want to throw people under the bus. And I know we're talking about Melbourne, and it's kind of funny that Melbourne and GWS have sort of linked into the same conversation because, you know,
Culture.
one gets put to the a culture in the AFL, right? We look at GWS and we call them gods because their social media game is sensational. You look at the D's, Christian Petrarca walks on the wrong side of the road and he's getting traded and hates the club. GWS go have a private event, do some saucy stuff apparently,
According to all accounts, absolutely.
and people are being like, the AFL need to just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
If Melbourne
Yeah.
did it, right? Clayton Oliver's going to Geelong. Petrarca is off to anywhere but Melbourne. Max Gawn's probably quitting. And I don't know, Jack Billings is going to a 16th club. Something is happening, right? This is just the imbalance between the media. And I'm not here to go, all right, GWS did the right thing or whatever, but you and I are footy players. We know what
You know what it's like.
the media saw what happened at amateur football clubs. God forbid it became anything disgusting. Because honestly, what you see that is a potential of what the Giants did, and I'm not saying it was right. I'm going to make sure I keep saying this because I'm not condoning it.
Speculation.
You went down to the little old amateur football club down the street, and you walked into the change rooms past 10 o'clock.
Everyone's getting fined. No one is playing for the entire next year. I saw it. I saw a tweet today that said, "I fucking hope to God the AFL do not oversee events for local football Mad Mondays because
Have you seen the Mad Monday page?
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's what the issue is, and I
These
actually
blokes are doing it, but with money.
imagine being on an AFL player's salary and doing that insane amounts
You'd
of.
go home happy because you'd at least have money left.
Exactly. But no, it's actually very true in that all the people that are responding to the Giants are like, why do the AFL care? It's a private event. But if it happened in Melbourne, it's like, bring the whole club down. Fucking sack them all. You know what, to be fair, it's good to see a team not from Victoria getting like at least they're getting media attention for the wrong reasons, but they're getting media attention. All it took was them fucking getting half their team suspended.
You know what? They'll get their team suspended, but they'll go use 15, 16, 21, and 37, pick up 4 gems, have a great next 4-year period, and half of them get traded.
Yep, absolutely. And the players that are getting suspended will be fucking nobodies. Josh Fahey was the only name that I know that actually got put out there today. He'll be one of them, and then all the players that are playing twos.
Toby Green dressed up as Ray Gun and got a fine because he was doing bad leadership. Now, firstly, I would kind of like a photo of this.
Yeah, first I want to see him dressed up as Raygun. That's the number one thing.
Secondly, I want to know, was it bad leadership the fact that he dressed up as Ray Gun or bad leadership for the fact that he probably didn't do the dance?
I'm sure he did the dance at some point. There is no way you're telling me that Toby Gray wouldn't have gotten a
Yeah.
couple of beers into him and be like, right, boys, clear the dance floor. It's starting to get fucking loose.
This is the thing, right? Last thing on Mad Mondays, because I know we're doing this as a trade period. I knew
Yeah.
we'd get derailed. Right. So Mad Mondays, you sit here and you've got fossils on radio saying that it should be banned and we should just not do it. It's the modern world, you know. The players are allowed to have a bit of fun. You know, there's the same argument for the BNF. They're like, oh, you have to be there. Like, if you're not there, you know, it's the one chance of the year the AFL players get to let their hair down. It's a still corporate club event that are there to thank sponsors and people on the board and all that stuff. It's a formal event. You're not really allowed to get let your hair down, and even the after parties are controlled. We all know this. The Mad Monday is the one time players by themselves are allowed to do this. Well, obviously not allowed to do what GWS did, but
Yeah.
they're allowed to have it. They're allowed to have it. And if you want, let's just broadcast Mad Monday.
Let's just do it. That'll make everyone so happy, I'm sure. All the players would be thrilled to know that their antics are caught on live TV. And I've seen the photos and things that you've seen over time of Mad Mondays are fantastic because, like, I remember very clearly the one of Tom Liberatore getting dragged out of that Mad Monday because he was losing his mind. But Mad Mondays, like you said, are the actual chance for AFL teams to enjoy it. Let them enjoy it. Obviously, within reason. Again, I don't know what actually happened to this Giants thing. I've just heard little things here and there that we all have. But very funny. Very funny regardless, because it's just a funny thing to have happened.
There's a big, big sound in the west of the town. It's the sound of the police coming. I'm talking the negative police.
Bad police. Yes, absolutely.
Wee-oo, wee-oo. Yep.
The only other thing that I have on the trade period, I think that I've written in my notes before we get into the last little things that we were doing or whatever it is that we have left is I said it before. Teams that don't know where they're at right now. Now,
Adelaide.
I mean, yeah, that too. That absolutely. But I said how Collingwood know where they're at. I'll touch on another team later that knows exactly where they're at. Team that I don't think knows where they're at right now is the Carlton Blues. Now,
Oh, God.
I know, I know. The
But they got pick three, Jared. Tell
yes,
us why. Why don't you think they're in a position or any position,
right.
apparently?
Carlton, I think, are in the most win now position available. Like they are win now. They have the Brownlow medalist, not just the Brownlow medalist, a two-time Brownlow medalist, peak of his career. He's just amassed 4,000 votes in one season. It's miraculous. Don't know how he did it. They have an all-Australian fullback in Jacob Wiedering. They have two Colm medalists side by side in Harry Mackay and Charlie Cannon, right? Yeah, what they've done, what Carlton have done is instead of, I don't know, getting a keeper back to help out with Wiedering or, picking up a player that isn't Nick Haynes, what they did is they got rid of Matt Kennedy, who can play pretty much any position on the field that you need him to. They fucking showed it on that last game against the Lions. They got rid of Matt Owies, who, as much as he doesn't do much, still kicked 30 goals this year. Like that's still 30 goals. That is 30 goals that you need to find a way to replace somehow, kind of thing. And then they were trying their absolute hardest to offload Brody Kemp, which would have been fucking
Mm,
disastrous, I think.
I don't think it was they were trying to offload. I think St Kilda were coming pretty hard.
But like
But
the fact they're even entertaining it, that should have been a no. That should have been a we're not getting rid of him kind of thing. And apparently Brody Kemp didn't want to go. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't think Carlton know how to build a list to just win right this very second kind of thing. They needed to bring in a star. Now, obviously, there isn't that many available, and it's the AFL is not like a lot of other leagues where you can just go and just entice a star to come over kind of thing. But you then get given pick three from the Houston deal. Obviously, missing out on Houston sucked. I think them getting Houston would have been huge for them. You
I
then
think
get
that
pick.
would have made them even more of a
100%.
in the now.
100%. If they get Houston, that is a in the now. I think that's why they were going for it. But instead, they pivoted to pick three, which you can then use to get a good player, but they didn't. And I think that Matt Kennedy, the situation up at the Gabba against the Lions when they're down 12 goals to zero in that second quarter, and they sub out Matt Kennedy for Tom DeConing, and he looks fucking filthy. That could be one of the biggest, like, I'm not saying right now it is, but it may eventually turn out to be one of the biggest sliding doors moments in the history of that footy club. Because from that moment, Matt Kennedy was clearly like, I don't want to fucking be here anymore, and was like, I'm going to get out of here, kind of thing, which then forced their hand to trade him away, trade away the more of their depth that they desperately didn't have last year, let alone this year. And it's then made this whole next thing spiral on. They get injuries in their backline next year, they're probably fucked, to be honest. And I think Carlton needed to build that back up. Nick Haynes isn't that kind of player that's going to put them over the edge. Always while he's great, like always while he's not a fantastic footballer, he gets 30 goals a year. That's another thing as well. I just think they're missing a piece that they should have had. And pick three is great, but you think about it, by the time that pick three is properly able to start winning games of football off his own boot, that'll be what, 3, 4 years' time. Paddy Cripps is 32 by that point. Like bad shoulders, Paddy Cripps. I just think Carlton are a little bit falling behind, and they needed a big trade period, and I don't think they got it.
Mm. I think we said this time last year too, to be honest.
Something probably. Oh, no, I think I said the Blake Acres trade last. No, that was 2 years ago. I lost my mind. I was gonna say the Blake Acres one was a good one, but no,
I'm
last
getting
year.
a bit of a sense of a deja vu because I agree. I don't like the personally. I don't like the always one, especially with Jack Martin going out. You know
Yeah,
that was
you
something.
can
They
use a forward that can kick goals. Any team can. Like if you can kick over a goal a game as a small forward, that's probably okay.
yeah, and I think the Matt Kennedy one hurts their trade period. They were almost pretty much near there. I would say they to get pick three in a situation they were in and to masterfully get that. I think that's regardless of the outcome of what they can do in the now. Pick three in this draft equivalates to maybe one of the best players to play the game. So you can see that if, but, and maybe. But I'm going to throw another but in there. If they get stricken with injuries again, they're in strife. But I generally think they understand where they're at without saying so, if you know
Without
what I mean.
saying they're going to be premiership, yeah.
I think they're around the mark again. They'll probably be in a similar position, 5 to 8. It depends on their list. It depends on what they can do. But I don't think it's as bad as you're probably saying. But I
No,
can
I'm not. I'm
definitely see
not
your
saying
point.
like they've absolutely fucked their entire club. I'm just saying I think they had an opportunity to get a better list, an improved list, and I don't think they did that.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think they had that opportunity, and it's just been it's just one of those ones where I'm like, I wish they would have thought about it. And I saw a thing today as well. The last pick three that Carlton had was Paddy Down. So pick three isn't exactly sitting in Carlton's memories very, very well. Which is very,
They
very fun.
made they made t-shirts about Nick Austin too for that trade.
I fucking loved it.
Nick Austin 316. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna get a Rory Atkins t-shirt.
Rory
And I got a
Atkins.
rat nibbling at the port logo, nibbling at a pear.
I was gonna say nibbling at the Magpies logo, but yeah.
Well, Dan Houston's doing that. He's got a rocket up his ass.
Fucking dead Houston.
Anyway, one final question before we get into something in particular. Um, who won the trade period?
Well, I think from chats before, I think we have the same. I think we have the same one here.
Port
My
Adelaide.
yeah. My winners,
Absolutely not.
my winners for this trade period is Richmond. in
Hey, yeah,
in the plainest of ways to explain it. And like I said, you talk about a team knowing where they're at. They fucking know where they're at.
yeah.
They are like, we are going to be bad and we're going to own it. West Coast struggle with that severely. They are like, no, we're not that bad. We'll be all right. We'll just trade our picks for fucking bunching the teens and fuck it up again. West Coast don't know what's going on. Richmond, they're like, oh yeah, we're bad. Let's get all the picks. Let's just get every single one. And they knew this draft was going to be good, so they said, fuck it, let's get everyone. And I like that. They've got a very young team already. They've got a lot of picks coming in. They're going to have a very, very young team next year. That's good fun. You know, if they can get Tom Lynch on the park, they'll have fun. They'll win a game, maybe. But I know that they are built, and I think I put out a tweet the other day. Fucking get ready for the Richmond dynasty of 31, 32, and 33, because Jesus Christ, they are coming.
I love, yeah, that excites me. Richmond knowing where they're at because now they've gone, Jack Graham, we've gotten the best out of you. We've got a premiership,
See you later.
or two. You can exploit your options. I don't think you're going to fit in the team, so off you go. We've got a contract there, but that's okay. Uh, Dan Rioli, same sort of thing. We've gotten the best out of you. Great halfback, obviously, but um, we're going to see what we can do elsewhere. You're more than happy to explore your options. And whilst I think he'll be the biggest loss of the lot, I don't think Shai Bolton is the biggest loss. I think Dan Rioli is because Bolton has burnt them a lot in his disposals. And obviously he can win them games, but are you saying he's in games where they were in it, not
Yeah.
as seen as much as where he was when his average for 2024 is an outlier compared to the rest because of their position.
Yeah.
So him going hurts, but Daniel is the biggest loss because a halfback that hits targets and can run and carry and all of that is a difference in the game.
He's
So
also
that
he's a
hurts.
very Damien Hardwick player too. He's going to fit in very well at
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
So I like that acquisition from Gold Coast. A couple of halfbacks too, with John Noble as well going up there. Very nice for the Suns. But Richmond win the trade period because they've got picks 1, 6, 10, 11, 18, 20, 23, and 24. Lotto numbers. What's your Powerball
Draft
number one?
numbers. Expansion draft numbers from the fucking Tigers there. Beautiful.
I'm excited to see that. I'm going to generally sit there draft night, and all I'm focused. I couldn't give a stuff about
I
picks
just want to see what
13.
Richmond has.
I just want to see who Richmond get
Yeah. I
and watch them select 8 draft picks inside the top 25, and all of them are playing round 1.
It's gonna be so good. And like that's the thing as well, is like no matter how bad a team may be at drafting, whatever, if you have 8 inside the top 25, you are bound to get one. One of them has to be good. And sometimes all it takes is one star to just lift and turn everything around. I agree in that Richmond just knew they were like, right, Dusty's retired. We're obviously well past it. All of our legends have retired. We are ready to rebuild and rebuild hard. And it worked for them last time. They were really bad. And then all of a sudden they won 3 flags in 4 years. So yeah, they were like, fuck it, we'll do it again. That's fine. They are just ready to do it. They have a lot of draft capital. Like I said, they're going to have a lot of fun come draft night. It's going to be a very good night for Richmond. The fact they've got pretty much a third of the top 24, it's like a third of the first, yeah, that first round, what it's going to end up being is nuts. And they're going to be really fun. And I am very excited to just see what happens. And the thing I love the most about it, no assistance package. This was pure guts. I'm going to trade everything. This is
Yeah.
going to trade everything I have. I don't need a fucking compensation pick. I don't need any of that shit. I'm just going to do it with my fucking bare hands. And they did it. And I love it. Right on Richmond. I have a lot of respect for how they went about it. And I have a lot of respect for the fact they're like, fuck it, just get everyone out. Just do it. We'll get some good players. And they actually got some pretty good value out of their trades as well, I think. I think the trades they did, they didn't really get stinged on it. It's not like they went unders just to get rid of a player. They actually got some pretty good value out of Rioli, out of Bolton, out of Baker. Like they got some good stuff. And yeah, they've done very, very well, Richmond.
I want to know to get 8 picks in the top 24. They're going to have a big presence on night 1 of the draft. They have enough players to present enough Guernseys on the night.
They're gonna be sending fucking McKelty LaFell up there in a knee brace. He'd be like, I've played 3 games, but here you go. I'm probably their star right now. Also, another thought that I had before: how fucking shit would you feel if you were Tim Taranto or Jacob Hopper right now? Those poor fucks. They went all the way, and now they're gonna get really, really put to the bottom. They may as well try and trade those guys too. Like, yikes. Tough, but they're gonna have to present all the jumpers to Toronto and Hopper. It's just gonna be Toronto and Hopper over and over and over again.
That's they just bring back like Richard Tambling,
They're
Gordon McMahon.
like Jack Riot. They're like, I know you're hosting 360 right now, but can you please come present
Troy
this?
Simmons.
Can you please come and present this jumper? Fucking Tambling.
Richmond favorite from the 2010s, Mitch Farmer.
Richmond club legend, Robin Nahas. Yeah.
Former Port Adelaide star crossed the town to Richmond, Matt Thomas.
Oh, they're another thing as well. In 10 years' time, they are gonna be a really good obscure team. Like, you know how like St Kilda is a really good like obscure player team one? They're gonna be that in like 10 years. Be like, hey, can you remember? And then just naming some random guy that played for them.
He was
He's-
picked 10 in the 2024 draft.
I'm so excited.
They're going to have such a hard time trying to name who's who. What pick
Oh,
are
and
you
that's all
again?
the numbers as well at the start. They're like,
Oh,
they're like player number. Oh, for fuck. I just say the names. We all know who I'm talking about.
and which one are you again?
Are you the midfielder or are you the halfback? I don't remember. I don't remember which one you are. I did all my scout reports I did last second, and now I'm screwed.
I'm going to be as obscure as Rory fucking Atkins, though, is he?
The Nibbler.
Nibbler. The Nibbler. That's
The
what they
Nibbler.
call Alex Neil-Bullen, who's off to the
I was going to
pros.
say I
So
did
that's
say
fun.
that. Nibbler.
Don't know why.
Just one of those ones, eh?
I don't really have a segue, so what we're going to do is just talk about our favorite trade, which is basically what we're going to call a stupid, sexy trade.
Yeah. Are we still playing the Homer, or are we just gonna just
Yeah, we'll get her on.
yeah?
It needs to get paid somehow.
Yeah, that's true. He's an appearance fee, so he's looking to get some money.
It's like I'm trading nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Stupid sexy.
AFL players.
Did anyone actually not come to the trade this year?
As in,
Like anyone not trade anyone? Did Sydney do anything?
yeah, they did the
Oh,
Luke
Luke Parker.
Brisbane did one, Carlton did one, Collingwood did one, Essendon did one, Freo did one. Freo didn't trade anyone out, but they got
I
in
think everyone did one.
Geelong. No, yeah, Smith,
Shy Bolton.
Hawthorn. Uh, yeah,
DWS didn't get anyone in.
no, but I
They
think
traded.
yeah. Well, Freo didn't take anyone out, I don't think, but they brought in people.
Anyway, I'm going to do mine first.
Yes. What is your
The middle of the week.
trade of the trade period?
My stupid, sexy trade, Jared Thomas. This is just going to be so much fun. You're going to love it, right?
Yep.
So you spend 2 weeks or 10 days and you're sitting there and it's like, what's going to happen? There's so many names thrown around. You're being blue balled, you're edging, you want something. You get to the final minute and the biggest fucking mega trade just drops on your balls and you say, here is 4 teams, picks, players everywhere, splatting about. And it's the greatest feeling in the world knowing You got a mega trade to finish your trade period. And it's pick 38 going to Carlton, Bailey Smith and 45 going to Geelong, Jack McRae going to the Saints, and Matthew Kennedy and pick 17 going to the Dogs. Mwah. On the graphic as well, it looks fucking sensational because look at the colours.
So good. Looks sensational. Beautiful.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The underlying winner of this one might actually low key. I know Bailey Smith is probably the pick of the crop. But the Dogs 17 and Matt Kennedy is actually really good. And I love Jack McRae going to the Saints because he brings experience, better opportunity. And Riley Bonner has no hope in hell now because he's gone.
Goodbye, Riley. See you later. I like that a lot. I like the fact that
Au revoir.
everyone seems to win in that trade. Everyone, like the colors work out well. Everyone gets what they wanted and everyone's happy. And that's very, very good. And I like that a lot. So very well done.
Good things come to those who wait, Jared.
Absolutely. It is fucking perfect. And you've done a sensational job. Stupid, sexy trade of the week, of the trade period.
Home hardware tool of the week. That's what you sound like there.
Yeah.
Maybe should we do that as the intro from now on? It's time for
Oh, the week.
your Kleenex. Stupid sexy of the week. Still waiting Kleenex.
Please. Anyway.
Who was yours?
My one, I went for a slightly different theory on my stupid sexy one. My thing of stupid sexy was one that it is just a two-team trade, but it is, I think, the most evenly balanced trade of the bunch. I think I looked at it and I went, that is just perfect. My stupid sexy trade of this one is one that I think suits both teams very, very well. It is between Fremantle and Richmond. I think Fremantle giving up 10, 11, and 18 for Shea Bolton and 14 is the most evenly balanced trade of the bunch. I think it suits everybody. I think everything works out very, very well. And I think both teams get exactly what they need, and Fremantle get that attacking forward that they've been looking for.
That's good.
Yeah, that's basically what I got because I think Fremantle needed a small forward attacking player that is a bit of creativity, a bit of flair, and that's what they got. And Richmond needed draft picks, and they got that too, which is all a win in the books. And yeah, that is my stupid sexy trade because it suits everybody perfectly and everybody wins. And that's how we're going to deal with it. I think that is my version of this stupid sexy trade. Well done to both parties.
I love the assertion and the domination of that. It's really good.
Just fucking, yeah, did good.
They walked in there and they took 10 days to come up with it, but they were like, we've done this good. And they were like, you've done this good. And they shook hands and then they
And said, well done.
And Richmond went on their way down the road to Gold Coast and they're like, by the way, can we take your pick 6 and 23?
I want all of them, please.
And we'll give you Rioli. And they're like, oh, no worries. We're going to give you that. No. And then they shook hands and then they walked off in different ways.
Richmond are good at shaking hands, as I found out.
Yeah, got their raw. Anyway, that's the stupid sexy trades that we liked. And just like the list managers, we're sweating. We've talked it out. We still have no fucking idea what's going on.
And I don't think we will. And there's also still more trading to come with the picks. So don't get comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, because there is plenty
There's more edging, more ins and outs, lots of stuff to happen.
Looking fucking forward to it.
Rory fucking Atkins, eh?
Rory fucking Atkins.
Do you know what the best part about it is? Port posted the graphic of him in port colours the day after everyone else.
They're like, oh fuck, we forgot about him. Oh no.
There's been video messages from Jack Lukosius and Joe Richards. Where's the video message for Rory Atkins?
Excited to be there, guys. Really, really good stuff.
If he doesn't sign off wearing a Port Guernsey and gong, then I don't understand what.
Rory Atkins is the steal of this trade period, everybody. Come back to us when he's a three-time All-Australian.
Okay, three-time All-Australian's a bit much, but when he's a 2024 Sanford BNF winner,
You can
and
come
he's
back to
the
this moment.
premiership captain of the Magpies, and he's just holding it up, and Dan Houston's gone out in straight sets because he's know that feeling too well, and Rory Atkins is a premiership player for the black and white as well. Thanks for watching, everyone.
And go the Magpies of the Port variety.
We hope your club did well. Thanks for trading with us once again on the trade glass table.
Thanks to Continental Tires and DHL Fastest.
I need a rat trap now.